with you. Super excited to have you on. Super excited to get into our round number 6. And even more excited, I just caught the name of the player. I was telling you guys I've been following along with a player online who's a previous regional champion in another TCG. It looks to be this player right here, JeyTCG, really strong player. Maybe one of the fan favorites to try to get things done with Irelia. Have you heard of Jay in the past, Pro Hell?
Sadly, I didn't, which is
Yeah.
my bad. So
No, not at all. I mean, the Riftbound itself is a little bit niche, but oh my goodness, we have our most recent champion from our events is PewQ. Do you remember PewQ at all? He usually
yes,
plays in
yes,
our
yes.
events.
I do.
That is
He's someone I know.
awesome.
So, well, let's see. We got an Irelia developed at 5, so we are taking her right into the battle, and it seems like it's probably
Yeah,
a
let's
miracle
see. I'm
here
just go
because
ahead and fixing these scores. So they're not completely undefeated, but one more time, they're just X1. So they're still in good contention for that top 8 cut. And this is a master class of a feature match. PewQ, multiple time champion in our Runes and Rift event. Funny to see him in person. Last time he was playing Ezreal on a recent tournament. Looks like he's turning over to the dark side, if you will, with the
yeah.
Draven. And I kid, of course. Sometimes when there's just so much pricing on the line, you have to do what you have to do. And it looks like he's picking Detonate Draven as his chose of deck. How do you feel about
Yes.
Detonate Draven, Pro Hell?
Well, it's very oppressive for sure. I kind of hate playing against it because I'm usually playing Ezreal, so the games tend to be very long because of that, and it's just not that fun to play against.
Yeah.
But it's very strong for sure.
As you said, it does feel sometimes a bit oppressive. It feels like sometimes, I know I said it before, it just feels like they're playing a totally different game. Like we're both in the game of Riftbound, but you're playing Riftbound 2.0 or something of the like. But either
Yeah, you're
or,
playing solitaire meanwhile, kind
right,
of.
right. It does feel that way sometimes. But either or, it looks like Irelia will be able to get her first point on the board with that Conqueror Obelisk. And you know, Pro Hell, funny enough, this is the second game we start double opening Obelisk. Why do you think players
Yeah,
are choosing to do that this tournament?
the thing is that Irelia's started to do that against Obelisk players because they are kind of hoping for that they can start every single round with at least 3 runes,
Okay.
and the Draven can counteract that with also playing Obelisk on turn 1, so they can just reverse Uno card the Irelia player like this.
Yeah, that does make sense. You know, I believe there was an interview with the top 4 player from Irelia, and it was a top 4 player that took down Randy. For you guys that keep up with the competitive scene, Randy TCG, multiple top 8, I believe, out in the regionals. He beat Randy, and he said in his interview the reason he was able to find success against the likes of Miracle Draven Randy is he opened Obelisk. So I will credit him for giving that idea to everyone. Putting that thought in everyone's mind, saying, okay, if you're able to take down Draven with an open Obelisk, I guess that's a good line. So I guess these guys are taking a page out of that book. But so far, decently good. You got the GA to kind of keep your Irelia in that safety realm. And Draven just trying to do what he does. That's a triple draw, detonate into treasure trove if it
Yeah.
resolves, because there is a world where you could defy it.
I mean, you kind of don't really want to defy that. It's just a 1 energy, 1 power. And the gear still will be there for later. For another detonate or another treasure trove.
Yeah, it doesn't feel all that impactful. And on top of it, looks like a scrap heat getting pitched. Unless I'm missing something. How did he pitch the scrap heat? Was it the Ezreal?
Yes, it
Okay.
should have been. And also you need to kind of defy the Bushwhack because that's the most oppressive card that you want to actually defy.
That does make sense. Do you think it's smart to kind of defy the call shot sometime as well, or are you specifically looking to just counter the bushwhacks?
If you have a good hand and you have more defies and the Draven is low on resources, you can, and it's definitely good. But if he has a lot of cards, then you kinda don't, because you want to save that for bushwhacks.
Mm-hmm.
You only want to do that if you see that Draven kind of have a brick hand and can do much. But it's kind of hard to judge that from a situation itself.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like Detonate, Draven, and Brick Hand don't really go hand in hand, right? You seem to just have all the answers, all the draw capabilities. But Irelia holding on strong. I believe she's going up to her third point of this game. One for the hold and then one to push forward from that Pouty Poro or the Lonely Poro. Looking to recall back to Irelia. And I like how patiently PewQ is playing this, right? Because he didn't want to try to go ahead on the offense, and try to take down Irelia, recognizing how tall that unit can get. I think now is time to put some points on the board. Or how are we approaching this, Proha? I know you play Draven quite a bit. Do you play more of the Miracle Draven or the mid-range? I think we talked about it a little bit.
I kind of played the mid-range way more because playing Miracle and Ezreal is kind of the same deck. So, but it differs, but the main engine of the deck is the same. So I was playing mid-range for this reason. Draven has a huge board already, so that can be a saving grace. But he really has the point advantage and also has a herder to refresh hand, and also that Irelia is kind of really strong, so it can be buffed up pretty much. And as I think I saw at least one Defiant Dance in Irelia's hand, so that can be a huge problem for Draven.
Yeah, it definitely poses a decently good problem. I mean, more so, it almost feels like Draven setting up a big problem for Irelia to solve because there's just one too much might on the current back line for Draven. Pushing on forward with one battering ram. I don't think you want to invest into buffing up this Lonely Poro. So I think we're letting him go ahead and drawing one, but that's a draw one for Draven as well for that conquer and the combat win. So each player are drawing one, and PewQ I think has displayed the highest skill expression from this miracle package or Detonate Draven so far, because he's just so smoothly, it feels like, working through his cards, drawing what he needs so far. I feel like he has a good amount of reps on this deck, unless he's just a really fantastic player, which I could see that as well.
I think he is a very good player, so for sure. But the deck itself is very strong, but I would say is not that easy to pilot as a lot of people think.
It is actually tricky. You think it's like an auto
yes.
GG win, but if you ever played it yourself, it's a whole lot trickier than a lot of people give it credit for.
I totally agree with that. You need to manage your resources very well, even your mites on board. So also, you kind of don't really care about cards, but you do really care about other resources such power and might and other stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And you
right.
you also kind of needed to commit those two units to just die because you couldn't score points in any other way. But that Ezreal and that Ram will definitely die this turn.
Yeah, I believe so. I think a bit of a sacrificial units. You have a whole lot more units in the back line. That's 2 merchants, 2 rams, a Draven, and a chosen champ, or a Ezreal champ in general. So sending in the herder, drawing 1. Looks like he will be investing it on guard at the minimum to try to buff up the herder. But I am keen to see if they want to try to save the herder down the road, maybe hiding something like a fight or flight. Oh, electing to restand the herder for the potential double draw play. I like what I'm seeing. So they played one and then recycled the same energy they played. So it looks like they didn't play anything this turn, but it just happens to be the same energy he just spent. So double draw. I like this play so far from Jey. Not something I would think about too often.
That's really good, and also that could be another play if he would be on odd points, not on even, because he is now 4 or no.
I think with the Conqueror of Irelia is 5 now.
5 now. Okay. that I would say that he could have restand the legend just to save Irelia and pull her out, but it seems like he wants to hold. Oh no, he is restanding it now and then he will pull it back.
Wow, so really prioritizing the safety of her units. More importantly, prioritizing denying any combat victories for Draven. Either or, usually an effective strategy against the likes of mid-range Draven where they're running a bit low on cards if they don't have the combat wins. Detonate Draven kind of works around that, right? You're never truly deprived of cards, so that strategy doesn't work well. I think at this point, you're just doing it to save your units most likely.
Yeah, it's definitely very good to avoid combats against mid-range Draven. Against Detonate or Miracle, well, you kind of want to avoid combats anyways, but they can draw that many cards, so it doesn't really matter. But this way you can totally avoid them. And I think I saw at least 2, but maybe 3 not so fast in Irelia's hand.
Right.
So if this is the case, then that Irelia can definitely hold, and Defiant Dances and not so fast, it will be a really costly thing to remove her from there, but
playing it safe, it looks like.
Play. Yes.
Which is interesting because with those amount of combat tricks, on top of having 2 Guardian Angels to keep her nice and safe, and on top of that, you have the not so fast for those dreaded rebukes against Irelia, still deciding to retreat it back. I think she's trying to use those Guardian Angels on the offense, right? Trying to buff up your Irelia, send her in, trade for a couple units. Yes, your opponent draws, but you get so much more value, I feel like, doing it on the offense, which a lot of people don't play Irelia that way, interesting enough.
Yeah, it's way stronger if you have the initiative. You exactly see how many might is in the battlefield. Your opponent cannot play more. You know exactly how many runes they had remained, and yeah, you can force out plays that they think that they can win, but every single card they commit, they just lose more. And you can force situations like that if you play like that. So
it looks like his intention was to leave it on a battlefield at the end of the day, but instead of leaving it there, wants to catch his opponent a bit off guard with the ride the win. And it looks like PewQ going with the rebuke or the fight or flight. Okay, deciding to push back the Irelia here.
Yeah, but it's really good since we have three not so fast in hand, so that's really good. And we can win next turn if this one can stay. But it seems like we are letting fight or flight go through.
Thought about it. He thought about it. He said he wants to save those rebukes. He wants to save the not so fast for the rebukes. And it looks to be a secondary fight or flight. You only have final 2 runes remaining. Do you let that resolve and let Draven get the combat win? Or are we going to be utilizing that second not so fast? I don't think Jey... oh man, I love how Draven is playing. He's putting Irelia in a tricky position. With that said though, how do you like that ride the wind play? I feel like with the full amount of runes Draven had open, it was a little bit ambitious, wasn't it? I don't love that play if I'm being honest.
It was, but if it would succeed, then we could have win the next turn, because we would get to 6, hold to 7, and we could just need to conquer the other battlefield to win. So I respect the play. It didn't work out, but it very well could have.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you have a point, right? Because if Irelia holds, she has 2 Guardian Angels, you have a Defiant Dance in hand, you probably have 2 Defiant Dances in hand. I don't think they were expecting 2 pushbacks, 2 fight or flights, and I like the simple fact that PewQ invested just fight or flights, and luckily he didn't really have to pay for the deflect costs because of those seals, so most likely still has at least 1 rebuke in hand, so he's kind of baiting out the not so fast with the fight or flight, and then probably at the end where Irelia thinks they could go ahead and try to push in for the final push, try to catch JeyTCG when he least expects it with that rebuke. If he has it in hand, I haven't been able to see if he does have it or not.
Yeah, but PewQ's play was very good. And you kind of forced Irelia to even take the fight or flight, even if you don't have the rebuke in hand, because if you do, then Irelia just lose the game on the spot.
Oh yeah.
So It was very good, even if you don't have it.
Yeah, I'm right
Good
there with
players
you.
will respect that
Yeah, exactly
option.
right. Super high level play being displayed from both of these players. Irelia does get pushed up to the merchant, so I like how Draven is playing and approaching this matchup, realizing that Irelia has an easy time conquering, just pushing little sacrificial pawns onto these battlefields. He doesn't really have any inclination of trying to hold these battlefields. He's rather looking to go ahead and conquer. So if Irelia is trying to hold, which I would imagine Draven being at 4 points, you don't necessarily have to hold too strongly here. I think you're better doing exactly what Draven is doing a little bit of, trying to push forward and conquer on your turn. So looks to attach, and then Irelia Legend to bring the Stellarcorn back. So goes ahead and draws an additional card. Or I think he might draw one.
Yeah, he should. And Irelia has a Guardian Angel, so in case it gets killed in combat for some reason, she will still survive. And the Draven needs to commit so much still.
Yeah, I mean, does have to commit a good amount, but I think he has the tools available to him. 2 Rosses, that's going to be 12 might. 2 Batarams, that's going to be 22 might. The Draven plus 6, 28. That's 31 total might collectively for the Draven player. So feeling like he has enough might to deal with these units, but I believe Draven is just at 4 points if I'm doing my point total right. I don't know, bro. Have you been able to keep eye on the points for Draven? I have him at 4, but maybe I'm
I think
counting.
it's 4. It should be 4, I think.
Okay.
But the point is that if he commits a lot of might to the Irelia, he will still just only get the GA from her, so which is pretty good for the next turn for a higher push.
Right. And I do like this hidden card from Jey, because even if he does have to deal with something like a Rebuke, you have most likely that hidden fight or flight at reaction speed to save her from that battlefield targeting from that Rebuke. So feeling comfortable about that, or just trying to save Irelia. The only thing is that's still a combat win for Draven at the very minimum. And oh, look at that double fight or flight recycled back into. So we're seeing what cards he's prioritizing putting back in the deck. That's interesting.
It was a cold shot and the fight or flight.
Oh, that's what it was? Okay.
Which is very clever because you can draw the other from the cold shot. So anyways, and you get one more free card.
Yeah, does make sense. Goes ahead with the straightforward conquer on Obelisk of Power down below. That is a last right trigger unless there is a pushback from Irelia's side. We saw a fight or flight getting hidden. Is there another fight or flight / rebuke? It doesn't seem correct to go ahead and invest a rebuke here. I think you just have to go ahead and let this resolve, unfortunately.
Yeah, you pretty much do. Because if you rebuke it, then he can just reattach. If you fight or flight it, well, you need the fight or flight later, definitely. for the next turn at least.
Yeah, Draven putting Irelia in a bit of a pickle, so let's see what he decides to do. Draven already got one battlefield, looking to most likely conquer the other battlefield because you're behind on points right now. Irelia looking to close things out as soon as this very next turn, pitches the Bushwhack, picks up 2 more cards, and interesting to play 2 Ezreals on that battlefield. Do you think he just wants to go for the full-on hold for dear life strategy, or what does he have in mind, on your opinion?
The header is 5 might, so if you put more than 5 there, it's harder for the Irelia to clear.
Okay.
But so, we know that Irelia has a Boots of Swiftness in hand, so if she get that powerful enough, then she can just gang there anyways. But PewQ doesn't know that, so
yeah, we'll see. So just kind of splitting the might between these battlefields. So sends 16 total might over to Irelia's side. I think you're just dipping out of there. Fight or flight reveal, choosing Irelia as a target. Unless you feel confident, there's just 4 runes remaining. You could fight or flight one of these units back, and then let's try to do the math.
Yeah, we can play our unit just to clear their units. So that fight or flight is mainly because of rebuke. Or maybe we can win the combat with it, even if we can buff Irelia strong enough by
Yeah.
pushing back a ram.
You have to be super careful though. You have to make sure. I mean, I guess you don't have to be the most careful, as you point out. There's most likely that fight or flight. I was gonna say you have to leave at least 2 runes available for that not so fast, unless there's such thing as a main board hard bargain in this Detonate build, which I don't think too many Detonate Dravens are running a main board hard bargain. But chooses from the chooses the Irelia, of course, so +3 on her side. So that's 7, 8, 9 total might. And -2, so bring that down to, I believe, 14 total. So 7 of 14, you still have to do so much more heavy lifting.
Irelia needs to be way more than 7. Because she has a Guardian Angel and 2 Guardian Angels, I think. And she was ready this turn as well. Oh no, she wasn't. No, I'm dumb.
Yeah, and wouldn't be able to ready just yet as the legend is exhausted. You know, this is the problem where you have one too many counters in hand, not too many combat tricks. Because right now the 2 Baron Rams are swinging in for 8, so 8 to 7. Or what am I talking about? Is 7, 8, 9.
We have the Guardian Angel. Yeah, 8 to 9. So it seems enough, but we don't have an answer. I mean, we have still a not so fast to answer the review. So it's fine.
He's tapping 2, sending the 3rd fight or flight of the game Irelia's direction. Does he want to go ahead and invest in that not so fast? This could be the bait of a lifetime, right? If he goes ahead and knocks so fast as a fight or flight, imagine he has the rebuke in hand. PewQ has played this so cleverly this game.
Yeah, I do think that he has it. Yeah, we are checking the trash, but yeah. No rebukes there. Very well played from PewQ.
Yeah, look at it. It's right there at the top of the hand. He's baiting out all the counters, and Jey sniffs it, saying, you know what? I don't like my odds against that final 2 energy. I'll let you get the combat win. I'll let you get the conquer. So Draven finds himself at 6 total points, feeling good. But now's the hard part. You have to set up the big defensive hold on both of these battlefields. If either of these battlefields go, that's going to be Irelia is already at 7, so that's going to be a draw at the minimum. But I guess you just stack everything on 1 because they need to double conquer.
Yeah, you pretty much do that. But the play was really good from PewQ. And probably Irelia went back down to 3 runes, so now she has 5. In this case, probably you don't have enough combat tricks and runes to as Irelia, but we will see.
Yeah, at the minimum, they do have that little cheeky way of getting over units by sending in a unit, Guardian Angel, keeping the buffs you invested already, and then readying it with your legend. But I think there's just 1 too much might. There's 22 on the Oblas of Power up below or up above, and then there is the 8 total might. So you could definitely take care of Ezreal. Is there a way you just hold your way to victory? Kind of, you know,
you can't really, you don't really have the runes for that. You have 5 and you still need to conquer 2, and Draven has another bushwhack for sure because he just discarded 1, so I don't think so that you're able to hold.
Okay, it's gonna be tricky. I mean, he would have to have a Rasa and a Baton Ram, or I guess the most straightforward answer would be a Bushwhack Vi to take down anything or any likes of holding from Irelia. Because I would imagine you try to conquer the Oblas down from the Ezreals and then just hold with any kind of combat tricks, keep a not so fast available. And hopefully if you just had to deal with the Draven, you could deal with the Draven. But if you have to deal with anything on top of Draven, that's where it gets tricky. You think with the Bushwhack, he has a couple more units in hand?
Yeah, for a Vi for sure, because this deck kind of needs to run 1 just for the recycle, at least. And probably there is more. There should be 1 Rasa as well that we are holding back, or we didn't find it. There could be a Ram and we can draw cards because we are Detonate Draven. So
Mm-hmm. Oh, and they do have the purple Draven to try to close things out. If there was a world you could play him and then push forward onto the battlefield, but you're just one too little bit short. Actually, more than just one. You can't even play out the purple Draven, yet alone ready him on this turn. And you still have to consider the rebuke currently in hand for PewQ. I think this is a bit of a checkmate position for PewQ, feeling rather confident from this position. JeyTCG trying to run through all the calculations he can. What is the winning line? What are my potential outs? But I just don't know if he's going to be able to find one. He could go ahead and draw one for Stellacorn, trade for one of the Ezreals. But that's another pickup draw for Draven as well. Sending everything. Oh, no. I think just sending one Stellacorn to try to deal with one of the ramps so far. No, he does. He sends everything over on the top side. This is not what I had in mind. Did you?
well, no, definitely not. But we are trying our best,
Right.
it seems. We will probably do the play that you mentioned earlier, that we just let Irelia die and then restand her and try to conquer. And we still have the boots in hand, so if that could succeed in any way, then
You
we
know,
could
Prohel,
win.
I see the vision. Because the herder most likely dies, so the boost of swiftness goes back to base. That's going to be allowing him to target the boost of swiftness. If Irelia survives, or of course Irelia survives because of Guardian Angel, right? So Irelia trades a good amount. Hopefully you're taking down at least 3 of these units. The boost of swiftness can attach, ready it, conquer.
Irelia is 7, herder is 5.
5.
Yeah, so we have 12 total might. We can kill 2 of the Rasas with that.
I believe
And
they
then
just picked up one Defiant Dance from the Stellacorn draw, so doesn't want to invest it just yet. Wants to prioritize it when you can use it to ready her. I almost feel like a Defiant Dance wasn't terrible there, because wouldn't you be able to take down 3 units? You go +3 Irelia, -2 on the Rams.
Yeah, but in this case, if you pass, you know that you have enough later, because if my math checks out, we are targeting Irelia now. We can go back to the battlefield, probably to the Ezreals because they are lower on might, and then we can restand the legend, retarget Irelia with the boots or with the Defiant Dance, and we can gank to the other end and we can win, and we still have the energy remain for the not so fast.
Oh my goodness, let's see if it goes ahead and plays out the way we're thinking. So Irelia should have enough to take down the Ezreal, forcing PewQ's hand on this rebuke, but we know there is one counter and saving it for the bitter end. So it goes down goes the Ezreals. So you have to tap one. Oh,
Yeah,
you do
and
have
you
your
still
flow
have
energy. So
2
tap
more.
one.
You still
Defiant
have-
Dance.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, Prohel, this is beautiful sequencing from this Irelia player. We both didn't have exactly what he had in mind, but finding the outs available, I think this is almost 100% guaranteed GG because of the not so fast in hand, no?
Yes, it is. From this point, we won. Because we Defiant Dance, we gank to the other, we restand Irelia, and we have a not so fast streak.
Unbelievable. Despite
Very well
the
played.
amount of pressure that Draven was able to put out on this game 1, Irelia still finding a way to maneuver her way and dance battlefield to battlefield. Truly impressive stuff. I want to say this is one of the more higher level Aurelias we've seen.
Yeah, it's very, very high level play from both of the players. GG.
GG indeed,
Very good game,
sending
fun.
it all on the hands of that rebuke, but of course holding it for the bitter end. And I will say JeyTCG doing an excellent, both players doing a fantastic job, but I want to say holding on those not so fastest just specifically for the rebuke, because there was many players that would try to not so fast those fighter flights, but sometimes you need to save those counters when they completely matter most. And when you're close to closing out the game and winning, that's when you have to go ahead and deploy that not so fast. So really well done. I think a lot of players in chat, or maybe people at home, probably thought Draven was taking that down, because I thought Draven was looking good for a second there, right?
I also thought that Draven probably has it, but with that drawing that Defiant Dance with the Stellacorn into the battle, well, he played his chances and he got it. That's really good. And imagine the Draven usually plays Veil Tempo as well. So you can do what, +8 in the same turn if you just restand it with the
Oh
Veil
my
Tempo.
god, yeah.
And you can just retarget the Irelia with the +8 and gank to the other, maybe in a dream scenario. So it can be very, very, very strong.
Yeah,
This card
imagine
is
that.
pretty much underrated, I think. But we're very, very only good in specific cases.
Yeah, it is a niche situation with those Veiled Temples, but nonetheless, at least one proc is good enough when we're talking about Fervent getting +4 at the minimum, so feeling decent about that. So Draven starting these off and just passes a turn as against a Draven. You like to see that, right? No merchants, no opening play, so having a bit of breathing room. And to make it even better, that is an opening sneaky deckhand. Irelia curving out as optimal as you
All
can
we
for
need.
start of game 2.
Yeah, that's all we need as an Irelia. Just 3 2 points.
Ain't no pro hell. How do you feel about a Boots' swiftness to get the hold for the conquer or for the hold, and then you conquer over with the boots? Are you a fan of that play, or it's a little bit too crazy?
Not really, because in this way you kind of guarantee yourself 2 points, and you can just go home without sacrificing any energy because you want to be on even points. So if you gank to the other, you will be on 3, and that's kind of not really worth when you can. I mean, you are not risking your sneaky later, and you can develop your Irelia.
Yeah,
Which is
that
very
does make sense. You're also neglecting them a card draw from that combat victory as well. So I think just go ahead, as you mentioned, recall back the sneaky deckhand, develop out your Fervent Champion, your MVP card. If there's something like a Falling Star Cyborg tech, do you just send it here? You're paying 3, so it won't be. So no Falling Stars
You are
today.
paying 4. You are paying 4.
I know.
Because you are targeting Irelia twice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's worth it, but to take down the MVP Irelia in your position, would you do something like that?
If I was a Draven, no, not really. But as a Kaisa, you definitely want to do that, for example. Because you don't really have any ways to destroy or to kill Irelia just when it's tapped out, basically.
Yeah,
But
honestly,
good Irelia
she's
players
such a problem.
not playing. Yeah, good Irelia players are not playing Irelia on curve against Kaisa. Because Kaisa will happily pay the 3 power just to get rid of Irelia.
Mm-hmm. It does make sense. Kaiser players also have access to something like a singularity as well. So another way of dealing with her, and you just have to go ahead and pay obviously 2 for, so just 2 runes, right? Because you pay 1 for the Kaiser legend, but either or Draven digging through the deck, treasure trove, stack deck, looking to find, or even the call shot as well. 2 runes remaining, taps the 2, most likely going to be playing out the final card of this turn. It might just be, okay, double battering ram to conclude that turn. And man, PewQ does his turns really well. I'm impressed by his turns.
What is turn 3? We got the engine going. Okay, but Irelia will be on 4 points, so that's a trade-off.
Yeah, it is a bit of a tough position to be in against Draven. Draven, you want to be ahead, and I heard someone say, I believe it was the top 4 player from Bologna, the Irelia player that got the best of there. She says Irelia is a deck that once you're ahead, it almost feels impossible to lose. And this is the exact situation we're finding in this round number 6. Irelia starting really fast start with that sneaky deckhand opening. Not only a conquer, but a hold as well, since they miss a 2-drop. Looking decently good as you're conquering up to 4 points, as you pointed out. And oh, he sided in Adaptatron. I feel like that card doesn't feel the best, but I guess taking care of seals is always pretty good, no?
Yeah, it's good. It's not as good as against, for example, an Ezreal or against the other Miracle Draven. Okay. Because power is not that much of a problem for this version, because we are playing treasure troves. But usually it's not a bad card. You can get rid of spinning axes too, and you can just target it with Irelia in the moment you need. So
Yeah, I don't think the worst card is trying to discard it now from the Zon Warrens. Looks like there's no, I mean, there's a seal, but I think conquering with Adaptatron sometimes poses to be a little bit tricky because of those batter rams. Adaptatron swings in for 3, and you don't necessarily want to expend those might increases on something like an Adaptatron, but
we have
playing
the
out the
Draven.
purple Draven, that's a card we haven't been able to see all day long. How are we feeling about this purple Draven? Are you a fan or a little bit overrated?
That's really good because now we definitely cannot do double Ezreal bottom battlefield
Mm-hmm.
first of all, and we can save our Irelia as well. So we could develop, we could hide the fight or flight, so our Irelia will survive. Still has deflect, so falling star doesn't kill it, or they must commit a lot for that. And we are playing fight or flight on that combat, so we avoid the other combat on the
Mm-hmm.
bottom battlefield, which is also a very clever play.
Yeah, very heads up play. So knowing that there was going to
Kind
be,
of a misplay
go ahead. What
from
happened?
PewQ. Yeah, so PewQ kind of misplayed it with giving the chance for Irelia to avoid that combat. So if he just moved to the Sunken Temple first, then Irelia should have
Yeah,
give a
perhaps not
card.
anticipating the fight or flight being played out, because usually it's like, oh, I'm not even swinging on that battlefield. Why would he go ahead and reveal the hidden card? But as you point out, it denies them the Draven draw, because he was always going to swing into that battlefield anyway, since your opponent's tapped out. Feeling comfortable about that, of course. So I think a bit of a misstep, as you point out. Probably should have swung into the Irelia first and then into the sneaky. That would have been one extra draw, and sometimes that one draw might be able to change the game. But who are we kidding, right? It's Detonate Draven. One draw, he should be able to see
And
every draw
yeah,
he
of
needs.
course, of course.
Right, right,
But still, drawing 4 is better than drawing 3. You know?
right. It's very true. I mean, more draw, more power.
Yeah. As your player, I can say that you cannot draw enough.
Exactly. So I think Draven does go up to the second point of this round number, or game number 2 of this round 6. So let's see where he decides to place that final ram, decides to back up his brother ram in that sunken temple. But this is a tricky spot to be in. Irelia has double deflect units in the back line. There's just 2 runes available. If there's something like a not so fast, I am feeling decently comfortable about this double conquer. That's a defy. But oh, pro hell, I'm not seeing the not so fast, so I'm kind of treading carefully about this rebuke we saw in game number 1, because that 2 runes is very suspicious if you ask me.
Yeah, but you don't know that we don't have that fight, that not so fast. So we probably won't rebuke it for. We are not risking that because that's 3 recycle, 3 power to recycle. We already used the seal.
Yeah, and I like this play from Jay so far. So sends in, I mean, you could. It feels wrong calling it the less valuable unit, but against the likes of a Fervent, it is the less valuable unit. So pushes in first, does ready it, so he's able to save it if it goes indeed and survives. And right now it's swinging in for 8 total might because of the discipline, so has just enough to take down the Draven. That's going to be 2 conquer points, one for the combat, one for the conquer, of course. So, oh, PewQ has a really tough decision whether you rebuke it, fight or flight. It almost feels like a lose-lose position because Draven is ready. So really well played for Jay, knowing exactly when to utilize that legend ability, because fight or flight was the way to do things. But now that it's ready, it doesn't matter.
Defies. Yeah, and we have two defies in hand, so fight or flight doesn't necessarily goes through. And we get 2 points with this conquer, like you said. So we don't necessarily need to clear the other battlefield, but I think we can, which is very worth it if we do be able to do that. We have 2 disciplines in hand, and we have still a mana for defy.
Yeah, and I'm actually catching glimpse of a flash as well. So in case your unit goes in and you do see that Rebuka, go ahead and flash your unit back to safety. But let's see if they want to go ahead and play on that even point tempo for the time being. As you said, that's 2 points, so 4 to 6, just like that. In a blink of an eye, Irelia almost feeling like a bit of an aggro deck. You know, I feel like she's a semi-aggro deck. It's a protect the queen strategy, but she's able to get those points on the board a lot faster than most decks.
Yeah, he kind of has the same kind of aggression like mid-range Draven. So I wouldn't call that as an aggro deck, but it's way, way, way faster than most of the decks. Yes.
Yeah, I am a fan. I'm a fan of this playstyle. I know it's like Draven. Either you love Irelia or you absolutely despise Irelia. I'm a bit on the fan side of things, so we'll see. Maybe because Draven's just been so popular, but I can respect Draven as well. I think they're both really good decks, and I just like seeing high-level Riftbound players go at it, just like we're seeing here in this round number 6. These guys are trying to hold on to their tournament run. And Draven goes ahead and conquers up to 5 points, or 3 points, funny enough. So he's decently behind as of now. Or 4 with the hold.
We got a dream hand as we did it at this point. The only thing what we miss is not so fast, but we still have flash in hand for a rebuke as well. We are kind of in a very, very, very good spot. Like right now, if we move to Ezreal with the Draven and we conquer that battlefield, we just won. We just not interested in the bottom battlefield at all. I mean, well, we don't win yet because we get the point first.
Yeah, not yet. From 7 to 8
point.
you can, but not 6 to 8, of
6 from
course.
8
But
you can.
either way, effectively win, because I think Irelia should be able to conquer nonetheless that other battlefield. So there could just be one more turn remaining. Irelia looking to close things out. I will add, though, I'm not seeing too many combat tricks in the hand. I'm seeing Defy, a Flash, a Fight or Flight, and I believe just a single Discipline.
And 2 defies, yes.
So it
we would need a charm to top deck, maybe.
Oh, imagine that. A charm would be brilliant here in this situation. I mean, most decks tend to run at least 2. Some decks are running the full 3. I know charm is probably one of the better cards in Irelia these days.
Yeah, because a lot of players are playing Vexes as well, so it's a very good to get rid of Vex when the opponent is tapped out. So you can choose when to fight Vex instead of they, which is very strong. And also, you can just move a unit from the battle. You can use Charm as a fight or flight as well. So that's also a very good usage. So you can just move an enemy unit from a battlefield to base, basically.
Yeah, it really is a fantastic card. It looks like PewQ, knowing that this round 2 might not be going, or game 2 might not be going his way, trying to set up some kind of defensive front on that sunken temple. Is this might enough though? Because right now, Irelia doesn't necessarily have to completely conquer both battlefields. A Draven push gets him up to 7. And then, of course, if you go ahead and try to hold on that Zon Warrens, that's going to be a 7 to 8 points. So trying to split a bit of the might difference across both of these battlefields just to make it a bit tougher. But honestly, it's Irelia we're talking about. I don't think there's any might that she doesn't feel too confident taking down. But with the lack of combat tricks, it could pose a bit of a problem, but let's see. 2 runes, or 4 runes available for Draven currently.
What did we get in hand?
I think he picked up a Guardian Angel, so not the worst. You are able to kind of double dip, if you will. Send in an Irelia, trade for some couple units, get it back, attach the boots, send it in one more time. But I think he's trying to conquer with Draven Audacious. Or let's see. I mean, I'm going to let Jey decide what he wants to do, because he has just a whole lot of foresight, able to think 1-2 steps ahead of his opponent. And I am here for it. I'm loving his way he's playing it so far.
Yeah. Seems like we will go to the reverse row probably. We won't be able to conquer both this turn, probably, because we have both hidden cards. But if we just go to one of them, we can hold it because Draven had to use kind of everything to prevent double conquer this turn, but we are still one turn behind in tempo. So if we conquer one and hold it, more than enough.
Yeah, it should
Or
be
we
more
can
enough. Even if that card on Draven's side is a fight or flight to push back the Raza and then send in the Raza, you should be feeling decent, especially if you have a fight or flight of your own to push the Raza back, which I believe he does have in hand. So he's trying to think very carefully, trying to run through all the permutations of what he can do this turn. Attach the GA onto the Draven, of course. That's going to be swinging in for 7 total might as it currently stands. He's floating a purple, so attaching the Boots of Swiftness, it looks to be the game plan. So swinging in up to 9 total might. That's still a little bit...
we have the double Defy for the fight or flight. 2.
All right, let's see if this is going to be swinging in for... I mean, he's swinging in for 9, but let's see if it's going to be getting a conquer/combat win for his troubles. Has the Defy, as you said... But you know, if PewQ catches winning, maybe you just have to risk it sometimes. You just have to risk if he does have a not so fast fight or flight targeting the Draven, floating an energy for the deflect so far. Are we defying this? I think we have to.
Yeah, we have to. Or he can take it and go back with Irelia. That's also possible. Or we can just target Draven and use our legend to restand it and go back right after. So discipline on Draven, or that one. But also line of play could have been just to target Draven, use legend, and just walk back in.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, but perhaps trying to save the legend ability for right now while he's currently on the battlefield to try to go ahead and gank his way over to the other battlefield. But it almost feels unnecessary. So trading 2 for 1, the GA goes to the trash. And now if you're able to restand, you still just go up to 7. Oh,
yeah,
I
but
guess...
we can go in with Irelia, and or we can just... We want it just cleared. It's... But conquering is definitely good here, because we can draw 2. I mean 1, but we will go to 7. So the next conquer will give us a point anyways. Didn't you give us a card? Sorry.
Yeah, it wouldn't feel that bad. So it goes ahead and resolves, going up to her 7th point. Irelia just one more hold away, one more point away from closing. You know, who would have thought if Irelia wins this, they are really well practiced into this matchup, because I thought Miracle Draven or even Detonate Draven is a decently tough matchup for Irelia. It could be somewhat similar. I mean, of course, Jey has been executing it perfectly this whole time, but I feel like it could be like she's been drawing really well, and then Draven hasn't been doing too much. At least in the early game, it felt that way. But either way, I think he knows exactly how to approach this matchup.
We drew a not so fast from the zone warrens, which is very great at this point, because now we can defy the bushwhack and not so fast the other cards. So we kind of won withholding. If he does, PewQ doesn't have double bushwhack, we kind of just won on the spot.
Yeah, on top of that, you even have a flash to keep that Irelia nice and protected. You're already at 7 points, so all that Draven Audacious has to do is 1 conquer. If you push up a unit onto Zon Warrens, that's almost what Irelia is hoping for. He wants you to have 1 unit on Zon Warrens for Draven to just go ahead and take it down. Because I don't think they're looking at Sunken Temple anymore, right? They're just going to be ignoring it for this turn, for this game?
Yeah, probably. It will be decided with Draven point or with Hold point. Or if you leave the Sunken Temple, then maybe it can rise an opportunity.
Yeah, he does bring that might down to just 10 total might. Sends in the Rasa, so 6-4 as it currently stands. Discipline gets invested, so that's going to be going up quickly up to 7 total might. So just out of the range of the 6. Now it's PewQ's turn to try to decide what he wants to do to try to make sure this combat goes through.
Yes, and we still. I think that fight or flight first was just to bait out a defy, if there is in a hand, because yeah, we are hard bargaining the discipline. Wow, which is a very clever play, because if we take that, then we are risking Irelia's life, which we cannot do really. So we kind of need to defy this. Or if we pay that too, we are risking it a bit. But Draven doesn't really have anything in hand, no spinning axis, so it can be good.
They still get the +1 for choosing it, so it's just at 5 total might. Could ready it with the legend ability and make it, I believe, 6-6. But oh, it resolves, so pays the 2, so Irelia
he
completely exposed. But I think the bigger priority here is Draven Audacious, so I think they feel okay if it gets Rebuke or any other spell on top of that.
Yeah, and probably, as I saw PewQ's hand, he doesn't really have anything to counter this. Like, we could maybe hold this even.
Yeah, I mean, that is 7-6. Do they have any little bit of a might increase? See, something like a spinning axe, but it has to do what you have to do. The rebuke gets played out, so Irelia back to the hand. That's a combat win for Draven. But look at that, Pro Hell. That is a single rune. A single rune for Draven. I think this is all but over. Irelia putting on a masterclass of how to beat Miracle Draven as Irelia. Super impressed by his play.
Yeah, I'm very impressed about both of them. They played very, very well, but Irelia definitely made the very good plays and very good calls throughout the game, both games.
Oh, and look at that. Has more than one Fervent in hand. One that just got put back in hand. And I think he even has the alternate art. So a lot of Irelia players just going with the simple chosen champion. But it looks like he has more. So runs the purple Dravens, runs more than one Fervent, has the Adaptatrons. This Irelia player definitely cooking up something a bit different than we're seeing in the previous regionals. Similar, but a little different.
So we probably don't have that many 2-drops. Maybe some Poros, but maybe they are sided out against Raven as well. So that's how Adaptatrons got in.
I think so this should be GG. I believe there's a fight or flight in hand. Oh no, there's not a fight or flight in hand, and there's no might increases, bro. Hell, how is it getting over?
Oh wow. Wow. I mean, it's so unlucky.
Yeah, he really just needed one out of the hand of 6 cards. He doesn't have a single on guard, a single Defiant Dance. Granted, he got decently lucky in that game number 1, so sometimes the luck tends to kind of equalize itself out. Has just 8 total might. And oh, Jey not really seeing it there, because Draven up to 6 total points. A double conquer does gain him the victory. Jey sends it in.
Yeah, and we are replaying the Irelia just to conquer, and we are giving a free point to Draven.
Yeah, free
and
conquer.
We want to draw something with the Irelia at this point, at the Defiant Dance.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to make these really hard decisions. So trading Draven, giving the points. So wait, maybe he's not at 6, because wouldn't he hold for 7? Unless he's going to try to double conquer here. I thought I had him at 6. 1 for the hold, 1 for the conquer.
I think he's 6, but he's 7 because he won a combat against the Purple Draven.
Right.
So that's a 3 point. Detonate on. Oh, that's good, but it can be not defied or not so fast in.
And decides to not play the Detonate.
It's not an action, or is it?
I don't think so. Let me pull it up here. I believe it's not an action.
Yeah, if it's not an action, then we just misplayed it.
Yeah, it's not an action. It's not action.
So probably that's what happened. He tried it, and JeyTCG just said that nope, that's not that you cannot do that.
Oh, the Ride the Wind is the perfect card. There is nothing in hand for Draven. You know you're going to be able to get over 10. And if you play around the not so fast because you're in-ring readied, that is 8,
Nice.
9, 10 total runes or 10 total might. A stack deck just to see what you could have drawn the next turn. But this is as good as over. How did Jey squeeze this one out? Did he just draw the Ride the Wind from the Zom Warrens and the 7th Conquer?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
I mean, he played for the chances.
Exactly.
He deserved it. Yeah.
It was +2 draw, right? 1 for being at 7, 1 for the Zom Warrens. So the chances were there to find something to get him out of this position. And a fight or flight pushes the Irelia back and back at it one more time. Irelia should be closing the chapter on this book of round 2 or round 6.
It's just a trade. It's just a trade. It's not over
8
yet.
to okay. Yeah, 8 plus
remain.
2, 10, 10. Fair enough. These are the tough position for Irelia, but one of them can accelerate their units a bit more easily than the other one. But of course, I mean, we haven't been keeping track of exactly every single unit. How many rosters and Batarams are left?
Not that many. We can see Bryn here's in hand. Bryn here is a very good Irelia counter card, but not in these games. Oh wow, it's over.
Oh my goodness! Wait, was the sneaky deckhand always there, or was that another one from the top? I don't remember seeing it.
He got the one sneaky and one ride win from the Zom Warrens and from the 8-point draw.
That is unbelievable. Well done, Sneaky Deckhand. One of the MVPs in the deck. Some people cutting Sneaky Deckhand. I don't think that's correct. I think Sneaky Deckhand works so well in Irelia where sometimes you just want to be a little bit speedier on the get-go and sometimes just to close things out when you're completely dry on units. And there we have it. Jey and his Irelia progressing on forward. Most likely won't be seeing them in round 7 as they might just intentionally draw with their opponent because X111 or X11 is guaranteed top 8 position.